Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with Hell's Paradise, episode 1. This is a donation reward for Sweet Venom. We get to a lot of Venom's movie rewards, but we don't get to show rewards for him that often. So let's do that here. So Hell's Paradise is a series that came out last season. I don't know how many cores it is. I don't know if it's still going on as like a 2-core series or if it's just 1 core for now. But it is by Studio Mappa, and that's all I really know about it. This is a series that I had heard a lot of people really liked, though. There were quite a few of those last season. But I'm definitely willing to check it out. Because the interesting thing is, last season both had Hell's Paradise and Heavenly Delusion, and I just find that funny. And I like the first episode of Heavenly Delusion when we did our first impressions on that. So now I just gotta see what is the first episode of this going to be like. So yeah, I don't know too much about this, but Mappa's been on a roll lately with the likes of Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man. It's like they've been doing really well. And so I have faith that this will be another one of those, but at the same time, I'm also a little worried that I don't know exactly how they divvy out their employees and everything for the teams that work on these different shows. I don't know if there's people who work on both or all three or whatnot. I'm just maybe a little worried that they could be spreading themselves a little thin by working on so many shows at the same time. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 has just started airing this season. Chainsaw Man Season 2 is an inevitability. We just don't know when it's coming at the moment. It's like, there's just so much. And I know a lot of these companies put out multiple shows at once and everything, but it's like, this many big profile ones that they're working on, like, nearly simultaneously, it seems. Just seems like a lot, you know? But we'll see. This one obviously isn't as big profile as like Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen, but still. But like I said, a lot of people from what I've heard really like this one. I don't know anything about what it's about, and the title really doesn't give me much to work with. Hell's Paradise could mean a lot of different things. The automatic kind of thing it brings to my mind is just like the world is a hell and there's a paradise within it. That's the only kind of thing I could think of in regards to the title. But that also kind of seems to be the plot of Heavenly Delusion. Like the world is apparently this horrible post-apocalyptic place. The main characters are searching for heaven, and then there's also these quote-unquote heavens around that are just these presumably there's multiple, but at least one that we see that's just this community gated off, bubbled off from the rest of the world of people who don't even know there's anything outside the walls. And it's like, we have an Attack on Titan kind of thing here. Or Nimona, that's another recent thing that did that concept. But yeah, so the fact that the title of this, the only vibes it gives me are the same kind of vibes as all of those. It's like, I doubt that's the case. Because there's no way they released 2 anime last season. Excuse me. There's no way 2 different studios released 2 different anime last season that have basically the same idea behind them. There's no way. So I don't know what to expect with this. I guess we'll see. It's just hard to say much in these pre-thoughts without, going into it knowing anything. But that is the way I do like to check out these shows, as blind as possible. So there is that. But that all being said, we're just going to get this started and see what this first episode has in store for us. Hoping to like it, but no matter what, since this is a donation reward, we will most likely give it at least a few episodes try. probably at least 3, unless it just ends up proving to really not be my thing before that. And it would have to really not be my thing for me to drop it in episode 1, but hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm going into this with no real expectations because, again, don't really have any knowledge of it. The only thing that could influence me at all is the fact that I know people like this, but that literally means nothing to me because there's so many popular shows that I just don't like. So, who knows? Who knows where this is going? We'll see. That being said, we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, if I'm being honest, like, I don't know if I'd say it's the first half, but maybe about the first half of the episode, maybe somewhere around there. I don't know. I would have to, like, actually check to see exactly how far in it was, but I was honestly a little bored. Like, we're seeing Gabimaru just fail to die, and it's like, and I'm watching, like, this entire thing. It's like he's being questioned. They're trying all these different execution methods, explaining the execution methods, which is actually pretty neat. And again, I really like how they acknowledge the fact that with beheadings, you typically can't do it in, like, one swing. It takes multiple, and so it ends up being, like, a pretty, like, gory, fucked up experience, which is really nice to see, because it's like you see so many anime where that kind of thing with, like, beheadings and all is done in, like, a single swing. It's like it's cool, it's good for the series, but it does not work like that. And for the reasons they said, all the muscles that are in the neck and the tough bone and everything, it's like that it's gonna take a lot to get through, especially for a stronger person who has more musculature there. It's definitely going to be difficult. Obviously, the entire thing with flexing your neck to where it breaks a blade is unrealistic, but still. But yeah, during, like, maybe the first half or so, I was just kind of like, where is this going? What is the point of all this? It's like, my dude just wants to die. It's like, okay, I don't really see that much interesting about a character like that. But as it goes along, we get a little bit of the story and everything, and then this girl, Sagri, I believe her name is, she basically calls him out. It's like, you've been lying your ass off. She's like, you're a dirty liar. I mean, yeah, a lot of this stuff you're probably right on. A lot of this stuff you've gone through hell. Like, yeah, you're probably hollow quite a bit inside because of all that. You've been through hell. You've been through a lot of stuff that has definitely made you a bit apathetic towards death and the world and horrific situations. But there's one thing, at least, that you've been very much lying about. You do have an attachment to this world, and it's your wife. Because he said that he didn't love his wife, that he wanted out of the marriage, and that's why he went to her father and was eventually captured because of it. But we find out the truth is that he actually not only loves his wife, he absolutely fucking adores her. She is his entire world. The one thing that he is attached to. The one thing that keeps him alive. And he feels unworthy of her. He saw her reaction when he came back home covered in blood and everything, and he saw how she reacted. He doesn't believe that someone as beautiful and amazing as her deserves someone like him. And with her telling him that she's always wanted just a normal life, but because of her father's culture, I guess you could say. There's a word I was trying to think of and I can't think of it. But because of that, she was like burned and given that scar when she was younger, and all because she just wanted to live a normal life. Um, that's why he went to the father in the first place. He wanted to leave behind his position as this exceptionally trained ninja and live a normal everyday life with his beautiful wife. Instead, they capture him and set him to be executed. He literally did nothing wrong. I mean, he's done a lot wrong. He admits that he's killed a lot of people and everything as a shinobi and all. It's like, but in that moment, he didn't do anything wrong. He simply asked for them to basically be free of these restrictions on their marriage and life, so that they could live in happiness together as they will. And the father's like, nah, I don't like that. I need to have control over my daughter even after her marriage. And it's like, ooh, that fucking irritates the shit out of me. So even though he tried to convince himself that he wanted to die, that he had no attachments, because he didn't feel worthy of his wife and because of all of this horrible shit that had happened because of him just trying to help her, just trying to give her what she wanted. He convinced himself he wanted to die, but in reality he kept resisting death and keeping himself alive because he could not get over the fact that he adores her and doesn't want to leave her alone. He doesn't want to die and make her sad. And just in general, he wants to still be with her. He loves her and wants to stay by her side and make her happy. So he kept resisting. And so Sagiri tells him, it's like, okay, I'm not actually here to kill you. By the way, this was a test. I was checking to see if you're the right person for this job I have for you. See, there's this place, Shinsekio, that is this magical wonderland full of beautiful, vibrant flowers. The elixir of life is there. But every time we send a party there, yeah, they come back dead and covered in flowers that are kind of growing from their bodies. Not exactly the best. So, yeah, we were told to gather up criminals, people who wouldn't necessarily be missed, and offer them a full pardon if they accomplish this mission. So I wanted to look for only people who would actually do it, which actually makes Sagiri seem very kind. She was specifically looking for people who she believed could pull this off so that they didn't have to die. That they'd get their pardon after succeeding and that death would not be a thing that they'd have to go through. She's not looking for expendable people. She's looking for people she believes she can handle this mission. That's actually very kind of her, and I like that. Because I feel like a lot of people would just look for the expendable people, The criminals who, they're just there to die. That's their purpose. But also, to be fair, that doesn't help with the mission. So, it's like, if the goal is to get that elixir of life and get it back, then you kind of have to have someone who can survive. But she tells him the entire deal. He realizes it's like, oh yeah, shit, I do love my wife. I really fucking love my wife. She is the sun and the moon and the entire universe to me. I'm in. And he finally finds his motivation to live, and you can see at the end his personality shifts. He's a lot more physically and visibly motivated. He even shows off his ninjutsu, something he refused to do before when Sagiri was asking. So it's very clear that he was convincing himself that he wanted to die. He was trying to convince himself to try and, in a way, make himself feel better. It was a coping mechanism. And now that he's really come to accept the fact that he can be good enough for his wife, that he can live a normal life with her. Because the thing is, if they're pardoned, it's not just a pardon, they get protection with it too. It comes with protection under the shogunate. So they can live their regular life, and they will be protected from the father. That's a big positive here. It's not just the pardon, it's the protection as well. So he's like, I'm in. Let's do this. I will do anything you ask of me. Let's get this done. Let me get home to my wife. Let me love on her like no one has ever loved on a woman before. And the second, again, approximately half of the episode, again, I don't remember exactly how. I wasn't paying attention at the time, really, so I didn't notice when it really started to shift for me. But the second half or so of the episode really did draw me in. If the second half was just like the first half, I probably would not be that invested in continuing this. I would still give it another shot for sure, but the second half got so much more interesting. Like even just the Shinsekio, this magical paradise that they found. It's like that alone is extremely interesting. Why is there this magical, beautiful paradise that is killing people? Is it inhabitants of the paradise that are killing people? Is it the land itself? There's a lot of questions that go along with that. That's very fascinating. Gabimaru is a genuinely interesting character because at first I didn't really like him that much. Again, with the entire defeatist, I want to die attitude, it's like I couldn't connect with that. But then when you find out the truth and everything, you see that he does have a lot of darkness to him. He does have a lot of hollowness, as his nickname implies. But he has that one thing attaching him to the world, and that's love. Genuine, unconditional, beautiful love. And if you've been on this channel for any length of time, you would know that that is a really big plus for me. And if you're new to the channel, just checking out for this series or whatnot, welcome to the channel, first of all. But also, yeah, that's a big positive for me when it comes to any kind of series or movie or whatever I react to. Characters who just love their partners or their friends or so on and so forth, like that is a really big deal for me. There's a lot of personal reasons regarding that. For example, I'm a huge fan of the found family trope. It's probably my favorite trope in all of fiction. And I love love. And I love seeing love that is really well written and really powerfully written. And I would say that that is a great example of that here. Because it's like, it's made very clear, like, his wife has a little bit of an issue with how she looks. She's got a little bit of self-hatred because of her scar and everything. Even, like, mentioning that Gabimaru is, like, the only one who could, like, look at her properly and everything. But it's also made very clear that he just does not give a shit about it. He thinks she is the most beautiful being on this planet. He thinks she is perfection. And when he looks at her, he sees the universe. And that is just absolutely stunningly beautiful. And it's like, call me a sucker. Call me a lover of schmaltz. I will gladly take that. This is the kind of shit I really, really love. Like, again, I love love. I love seeing people in love. I love um, just seeing displays of affection and all that. I mean, it admittedly makes me a little bit jealous because I don't have that. Seeing people like friends of mine get married and have kids and be affectionate towards each other, yeah, it definitely makes me a little bit jealous. But I also am just excessively happy for them because love is just such a splendid thing. All you need is love. Like, love is just that magical. And yes, I just quoted a song, by the way. um, Listen, I like Moulin Rouge. I know the song's not originally from Moulin Rouge, but I like Moulin Rouge, and so it's like it just came to mind. Um, but yeah, like in all genuineness, I really do like where this went. Gabby Maru just instantly shot up for me as a character, going from someone I didn't like to someone I actually really do like. I wouldn't say he's like my favorite main character I've seen in recent anime or whatnot, but he definitely gained a lot more respect for me. I like Sagari because there is implications that she is extremely kind and caring about people. Um, and I'm very interested to see because it looks like she's probably going to be joining him in this mission. Um, which, considering her clear skill, is going to be great to see as well. Um, and I like the goal that our main character has too. I like that Gabimaru's goal is just literally to get home to his wife and live a normal life. It's like I can respect the shit out of that. My dude just wants to love on his beautiful wife, probably have kids, just enjoy being together. It's it's a very worthy goal. Like you see all these anime where the main character has like this big grandiose motivation. You have like One Piece, Luffy wants to be the Pirate King, Naruto wants to be the Hokage, and so on and so forth. But then you have just characters who just want to just live a normal everyday life. Like Ichigo in Bleach doesn't really have any grand goals like that. He just wants to live a life with his friends that he can be proud of. He doesn't want to become like the leader of the Soul Society or anything. And Gabimaru here is kind of like that. He just wants to have a normal life with his wife. One that will make her happy. Because that's what matters to him. And I can dig those motivations just as much as I can with the bigger, more grandiose ones. In fact, sometimes even more. Because they feel almost a little more realistic, if I'm being honest. Um, like grandiose goals, having big goals in life is a great thing. But for me personally, I don't have that. Like, I don't have any big goals. I don't have any big motivations. I don't really have like those kinds of hopes and dreams. My hopes and dreams are built on more in the moment kind of stuff, more short term goals, just making it to the next convention and having a great time there, something like that. Getting to see some friends again, hanging out and playing games with them. Stuff like simple little things like that is enough for me. I don't have to have like any big goal. I'm not. I don't care about money. I don't care about status or fame. I don't care about position of power. I just want to live a happy life. That's fine for me. And so, like a character like this, it definitely resonates a lot more with me. And it's not, again, I like characters who have some, I like a lot of these characters who have grandiose goals and all, like Luffy from One Piece, but again, it's not as relatable to me. Um, the visuals in this are pretty interesting too. Like they're high quality, but they're also a little like, how do I put it? I don't want to just say unique, because other anime have obviously done this kind of stuff. Like, for example, I brought up the entire thing with how vibrant and bright the flowers were compared to everything else in those shots, like that were more dulled and grayed out and everything. I've seen a lot of anime, I've seen a lot of games, and other stuff do that kind of thing. Like, that's not new. I mean, hell, you could look at Sin City, the movie Sin City, for an example of that. But it's the way they do it. They're like the flowers aren't just vibrant; they're like literally glowing. The way the characters move, the expressions, the way it's all done is very high quality, but in a different way than other shows do, like very high quality animation. Like, you watch other stuff from recent memory, other Mappa stuff. Let's compare it to other Mappa stuff, like Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen. Very, very great animation on both of those shows, right? Especially Chainsaw Man, like Jesus. But it's very different. And most, I think the best way to put it is Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen are just high animation quality. This series is high animation quality plus stylism. It is stylized to hell. It has a very specific feel to it that just, even with the opening is kind of trippy and wild, and it's extremely well animated. The visuals are gorgeous, but it's stylistic. It doesn't feel like other openings because of that style. It's trying to go with a very specific feeling to it. And I don't know if this is based off of a manga or not, but if it is, maybe the manga had some stylistic drawings to it that this is trying to emulate in a way. Or maybe this is just for the anime. Maybe this is original for the anime, and or maybe it is just an anime only thing too. There's plenty of anime out there nowadays that aren't based off of anything. Like, I believe Link Click, not technically an anime, I know because it's from China, but still, it's not based off of a manga or anything. Panty and Stocking wasn't based off of a manga. And sometimes you just get those. So I'm kind of wondering, like, if this was based off of a manga or not, and if it did the manga have that same kind of stylization in it, or is that just added in for the anime? Kind of makes me curious. But yeah, I did very much enjoy this, but I'm not 100% sure on what I'm going to think about it overall yet. For one, it's just the first episode. This was like almost completely set up. There wasn't really much of anything else in this episode. It was just introducing us to the main character, to a notable side character, I presume, or even a secondary main character, maybe. Showing us the animation, the art, the voice acting, getting to see where the plot's gonna start to go. But you don't really get an entirely good feel, and most first episodes don't do that, so it's definitely one of those cases where you need to see more to really know what you're going to think of this series. Because this could end up taking a big downward turn for me. But it could also take a really high upward turn as well. So right now, I'm just not quite sure yet what I'm going to think about it overall. But I am very obviously willing to continue to watch it. Though, again, it would have had to have been really, like, not my thing for me to drop it with the first episode anyway. But yeah, so I enjoyed this. Excited to see where this goes next, and hopefully it continues to be even better than where this first episode left off on. So, as long as you do not leave any spoilers in the comments, please let me know what you thought down there in the comments of this first episode of Hell's Paradise. Let me know your thoughts on the animation and the unique stylization of it. Let me know your thoughts on the character and how his entire attitude and personality switches up once he gains his refound motivation. Let me know on your thoughts on how his wife is just absolutely beautiful and her scar doesn't change that. And how he is a very lucky man. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, like in all seriousness, on anything from this first episode. But once again, please, no spoilers for the future. That being said, thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.